Now, Louise Linton is the wife of Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin. Now, she was not happy when Jenny Miller, a mother of three from Portland, called her out for her massive amount of privilege. Now, she, of course, responded to this woman for being poor, for having less money than she does. Now, that is, of course, super classy. Now, this whole thing began when Miss Linton posted a photograph of herself on Instagram. Now, that picture, of course, as you can see in the corner here, basically had her disembarking from a military jet with lots of course, government markings. Now, she went on that trip, she went on that plane with her husband to Kentucky to meet the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. Now, okay, look, she's going on that plane, and she's got a trip that's being paid for, obviously, by taxpayer money, right? Now, she posted this on Instagram, and she put the hashtags, great day trip to Kentucky, Roland Moray, Hermes scarf, Tomford, and Valentino. Now, look, I have no idea what those things are. I had to read up on it, okay? Apparently, that is some very expensive wardrobe. Well, that's weird. Now, look, anybody who knows me personally knows I am a super cheap person. I'm the kind of guy who will not pay more than $20 for a pair of jeans. Okay? That's me. Now, it doesn't bother me when people pay more. I just think, but you paid $150 for a t-shirt? What are you, stupid? That's ridiculous. Hey, man, okay, look, I'm not the one buying it. That's your money. You do what you want. Super cheap, right? However, Miss Miller, who saw this, again, this is that mother of three from Portland. She said, she said, glad we could pay for your little getaway, hashtag deplorable. So basically saying, so you go on this plane and you go on this trip, that's taxpayer funded, and then you post this picture of you with your lavish, expensive clothes. Well, I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to leave a nasty comment, and that's fine, right? I know a bit about people who make nasty comments. Believe me. Who cares? But apparently, Miss Linton did care. She cared a lot. You see, instead of ignoring her, Linton, whose account had been public before this happened, who later then changed her Instagram account to private, said, "Aw, did you think this was a personal trip? Adorable. Do you think the U.S. government paid for our honeymoon or personal travel? Have you given more to the economy than me and my husband, either as an individual earner or in taxes or in self-sacrifice to your country? Oh my God, the sacrifice! We sacrifice so much! How dare you criticize me, you pleb?" We're talking about self-sacrifice here. That's amazing. Now, Miss Linton said, "I'm pretty sure we paid more taxes towards our day trip than you did. Pretty sure the amount we sacrificed per year is a lot more than you're willing to sacrifice if the choice was yours." Sacrifice. She keeps talking about sacrifice. I don't think she understands quite what that means. And first of all, taxes, they're not a sacrifice. They're literally how we pay for things in the country so that we all benefit. So look at that framing, right? So to her, paying her taxes is a noble sacrifice. Oh, see, I'm rich and I shouldn't have to pay these taxes, but since I do it out of the goodness of my heart because I'm sacrificing to help you. Oh, how noble are you, Miss Linton? Look, odds are she pays a lower tax rate than a secretary, as many wealthy people often do. I don't know that for certain. I haven't seen her tax returns. But my guess is that due to the various loopholes and tax deductions that she could probably take, my guess is that she might pay a lower tax rate. Now, I don't know that for certain. Maybe she does pay a higher tax rate. Maybe she does pay the full 39%. I don't know. All I can do is I can speculate, right? But calling it a sacrifice, really? Okay, man. Hey, man, you know, you actually use the same roads that Miss Miller also pays for her taxes. Just saying. It's for the public benefit. Now, further on, she goes on to say, and this is probably the best part, right? She goes on to say, "You're adorably out of touch." Out of touch. Out of touch. Okay, well, let's talk about how Louise Linton, how she is not out of touch, how she's totally in touch with the working class, as she has recently posted with diamonds that she wore at a June wedding for a Town and Country magazine spread. And by the way, she is also an actress. Out of touch. Totally out of touch. Now, Ms. Miller, who was contacted by the Washington Post for a telephone interview, said she was taken back by Ms. Linton's words. Quote, "If she hadn't made her account private, I would have written back with a very snide Marie Antoinette joke." Which would have been great. Let her eat cake. Let them all eat cake. Now, Miller also said, "I think my post was just 5 or 6 words, and she had to go on basically a rant about it to make herself look more important and look smarter, better, richer, all those things." She also said she regretted letting Miss Linton get under her skin. Miller could not understand why Linton highlighted her brand labels on a trip to Kentucky, a state with a high poverty rate. Well, again, that's because she is out of touch. And look, when you're an actress or a model, you're on social media, I can kind of understand why. Your life becomes about advertising. You become a walking commercial. Unfortunately, that happens to be the system that we're living in. Okay? You are a giant commercial. And again, the system. Now, the issue here, though, is the snide condescension that we're getting. And the issue of punching down. Like, you're going to have people make ridiculous comments, snide comments, which I don't think so. I don't think that's the case in this case. I think it is perfectly warranted. But it's called being in the public, right? These comments are something that public figures have to deal with. Being sort of a public figure myself, I can understand. And it's not like Ms. Miller did not have a point with her commentary. The government did pay for that trip. Now, since they've gotten some backlash, the Treasury Department, a spokesperson had said, well, you know, the Mnuchins, since they got their shit called out, they actually did reimburse the government for that trip. Okay, good. Public pressure. It works, right? They also said, interestingly enough, that Ms. Linton was not compensated by any of the labels she promoted with those hashtags. So I guess the important question here, right, is that should people like Linton be allowed to respond to criticism without getting more criticism? That's an interesting question. Now, obviously, I just criticized her, so I'm going to say no. I think she is fair game, especially since you're a public figure. If you're in the public sphere, I'm sorry, you're going to get criticism, whether you like it or not. And not only, you know, being a public figure, but a public figure that's in politics and who also uses taxpayer money to go on trips. I think that's a fair game. Now, people do have a right to criticize you and then to criticize your response. Now, I know some people are like, but you got to be nice. Decorum, right? I don't care about decorum. I don't care about being nice. I think you should be allowed to criticize people for being out of touch. And I also think it's fair to defend, you know, for someone to defend themselves about that criticism. That's what social media is about. Welcome to the internet. So, no. Welcome to social media. Welcome to Instagram. And welcome to politics, where anybody can say anything and be criticized for it. If you can't handle it, maybe you shouldn't be on social media. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.